You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
We can't just shut the town down.
Business owner Josh Richardson is just one of many people in Ruidoso who are trying to navigate and find a way to rebuild after the catastrophic floods this week. But the question now is how? Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 News First at 4. I'm Monica Cortez. There is so much work to be done right now in Ruidoso, and so many questions are left unanswered, like when will the $15 million promised by the government come in? New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham assured everyone yesterday that resources and funds will soon be on its way to the village to help with the recovery efforts after the flash floods took the lives of 3 people, 2 children, and 1 man. Hundreds of homes have been either damaged or destroyed, and countless animals have lost their lives. KTSM reached out to the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management this morning on when the funding would be dispersed, and this is what they had to say. According to Daniela Silva, she says, quote, "We haven't received the $3 million yet, but we know that our partners at FEMA are working on that. It's not a typical funding source during a disaster, and so they're navigating how it will be allocated." Officials go on to say the $12 million would go from the government and straight into the locals. No other details were given on when the money would come in. We now also know that the missing have been accounted for. And while everyone is still trying to figure out the next steps, businesses are also feeling the pain from this catastrophe. KTSM spoke to a business owner in Ruidoso who tells us there's so many unemployed people right now because of this devastation. With the track shutting down, a lot of locals are left without a job in Ruidoso Downs. And while many businesses are trying to get back up and running again, Josh Richardson says asking people not to come to Ruidoso is simply not an option.
Yes, we do have to make sure that we have a safe place for everyone to be, keep them away from the low-lying areas, places are troubled areas. But we also had to make sure that we keep businesses open because people have to work here.
He goes on to say while there is a lot of work to be done in Ruidoso, they also need to stay open in order to survive this terrible tragedy. But of course, there are major concerns about rain chances picking up again this weekend, which is why the village of Ruidoso is making self-fill sandbags that are now available for residents. You can actually get those now through the end of summer. There is a 30-bag limit per household. Locations to get those sandbags are at Ruidoso Convention Center on Sierra Blanca Drive and Wingfield Park on Center Street. We're also learning more about the 2 children killed in the flash flooding in Ruidoso. As we first reported in our newscast yesterday, their family has set up a GoFundMe account. The money raised is meant to help cover funerals expenses and medical expenses for the surviving parents. The family described the children, 7-year-old Sebastian Rowan and his 4-year-old sister, Charlotte Emery Trotter, as 2 of the brightest, most joyful souls you could ever meet. They go on to say that Sebastian fought to protect his little sister. They also mentioned 2 of their 3 dogs were unable to survive their injuries. Their German Shepherd Lily did survive alongside their parents Stephanie and Sebastian. The family says everyone helped trying to rescue them as well as their dogs, and now we're learning that Sebastian faces major surgeries and months of recovery, and he is an active U.S. soldier, and Stephanie is also looking at a long road ahead of her for recovery, and she is a nursing student. We have more on their story and their GoFundMe link on our website, ktsm.com. Switching over to Texas now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says 160 people are believed to be missing so far, and emergency officials say 120 people have died. That number is expected to climb. This as federal officials work to understand the cause of this tragedy and how to prevent it.
Ground in Kerrville, Texas, President Donald Trump saw firsthand what happened when heavy rain pushed the Guadalupe River over 3 stories high.
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of bad ones.
The force destroyed buildings, including the summer camp, where 27 campers and counselors died.
It's really hard to see it.
In neighboring Hill County, a memorial wall shows the devastation.
All across the country, Americans' hearts are shattered.
Federal disaster officials, FEMA, are already on the ground in Texas. And on Friday, Governor Greg Abbott announced President Trump expanded the counties approved for FEMA's assistance.
This type of wild weather event can hit any one of our states.
The Trump administration has tried to phase out FEMA. Democrats say the disaster proves why the agency is essential.
We can abolish FEMA when we can get an executive order abolishing and banning wild weather events.
And local officials say they'll ask the federal government to help with advanced warning systems as lawmakers weigh the cost of trying to prevent another tragedy over the cost of not.
Texas ought to be able to deal with this. We're the 8th biggest economy in the world.
All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about weather because this all goes hand in hand. You know, we really don't want to be seeing any more rain chances for our friends in Ruidoso or in central Texas. Here in El Paso, it's been really hot, very humid. So the question is, do we have rain chances here for the El Paso area, Robert?
Hi there, Monica. Happy Friday to
Friday.
you. I wish I had some good news for everybody in this long-range forecast.
No.
Unfortunately, I do not. And I'm going to talk about some troubling events that could potentially affect Ruidoso Sunday and Monday in particular. Would you look outside right now? You mentioned the word hot. Yeah, I would definitely call it hot. Hot and hard, like a hard, horrible heat. We have a heat advisory over us. Of course, we knew this little heat wave would be coming today, and it starts to break down tomorrow as temperatures go back down. We'll still be at about 100 degrees tomorrow. That heat advisory lasts until 9 o'clock tonight. Now, up in Ruidoso, no direct hit over the town of thunder showers, but man, they came awfully close just to the south and east out there. So another day to kind of dry out. But that is going to change in a big way over the next few days, which I'll talk about in the main weather forecast. Here's a look at tomorrow. Walk your dog in the morning. It's going to be hot, 100. And then here come the late day thunder showers. We're going to have the threat of heavy rainfall on Sunday. I'm going to have that detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and take a look outside using our TechStock cameras, and this is what it looks like. I-10 Kansas, everything is looking really nice and smooth. Nothing really to slow us down at this 4 o'clock hour here in downtown El Paso. Well, the U.S. looks to compete with China in a critical industry. In today's Political Minute, Mike Viqueira breaks down the Defense Department's new deal and what the U.S. is up against.
Uncle Sam strikes a deal. I'm Mike Viqueira, News Nation Washington Bureau Chief. The Pentagon just agreed to take a major stake in MP Materials, a company that owns the only operational rare earth mine in the United States. That mine is located in Mountain Pass, California, and the deal makes the Pentagon MP's largest shareholder. Rare earth is found in everyday technology like smartphones, cars, and computers. It's also a key component for military weapons and is used in things like fighter jets. The move is designed to bolster national security and catch up with China, who is far ahead of the U.S. when it comes to rare earth mining. Currently, China dominates the global market, accounting for almost 70% of the world's rare earth mineral production. The U.S. is a distant second at 12%. As for supply, China is leading everyone else as well. With 44 million tons, they have almost half of the world's known reserves. The U.S. came in seventh with nearly 2 million tons. I'm Mike Viqueira, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Well, we continue to talk about the devastation caused by the floods in Ruidoso. Coming up in our In the Comments segment, we hear from you. Then termination notices were sent to State Department employees this morning as the agency begins to reorganize, making it the biggest reorganization in decades. Details a little later in this newscast. Thank you so much for joining us here on KTSM 9 News First at 4, putting local first. Welcome back, everyone. Well, in our segment, in the comments, we are talking more about the family who tragically lost their 2 children in the floods. As we've been telling you, their family has set up a GoFundMe. The money raised is meant to cover their funeral expenses and medical expenses, especially for the surviving parents. The family described the children, 7-year-old Sebastian Rowan and his 4-year-old sister, Charlotte Emery Trotter, as 2 of the brightest, most joyful souls you could ever meet. They go on to say that Sebastian fought to protect his little sister in the floods. They also mentioned 2 of their 3 dogs were unable to survive their injuries. Their German Shepherd Lily did survive alongside their parents Stephanie and Sebastian. The family says everyone in Ruidoso was trying to help rescue them as well as their dogs. We are learning that Sebastian faces major surgeries and months of recovery, as well as his wife, Stephanie. He is an active U.S. Army soldier and Stephanie is a nursing student. We, of course, have this story and their GoFundMe link up on our website, KTSM.com. We posted this heartbreaking story on our social media, and we had over 400 comments from all of the community just offering their deepest condolences. Tammy Breland writes, God help this family and all the other families in this horrific destruction. Pataki Bia writes, I'm so sorry for all the victims and their loved ones. The stories of survivors provide much hope and comfort, but it was an incredible disaster and even more painful day by day to recognize the concrete persons, families, stories about their lives' last moments. I'm so sorry about what happened. Deep condolences to all the families of the communities. And Ellen Long writes, having a hard time wrapping my head around all of this. As a mother, I just can't imagine. My heart and prayers go out to all the recent flood victims and those who are forever affected by their community loss. And finally, Alicia Alvidres writes, sweet, beautiful angels, rest in heaven and shine bright always, so mommy and daddy will have comfort and peace someday until you see them again in heaven. Deepest condolences to the family and sending a sincerest hug in sympathy. It truly is so tragic, and it is so nice to see just everyone coming together and offering just a little bit of comfort to the families in this devastation. Guys, don't go anywhere. We still have a lot more to share with you right after this break. We'll be right back.
your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
It just occurred to me, I need to update this misery meter. Now, we've had 22 days of triple-digit heat, but this number right here should actually move up to 8 because we have hit 105 degrees. Oh my goodness, what a horrifying day. Here are the high temperatures so far today, and I don't think we're done yet, so we'll see what we end up with a little later this afternoon. 107 Juarez so far. We've been at 105, 103 Las Cruces, 102 Alamogordo, 104 Deming, 90 Ruidoso, 101 TRC, 83 in Cloudcroft today. And this ridge of high pressure is actually now centered more toward us as we've come down to 107 out in Phoenix, 96 Albuquerque, 91 Dallas, 91 Austin, 92 for San Antonio. But that ridge of high pressure breaks down as we speak. In fact, it is in the process of pulling back as the sun sets tonight. 103 is the temperature in Las Cruces right now. We've got a dew point at 31, so very dry. We've had westerly winds today, and as I suspected, they've been a bit gusty at times, especially right on the eastern slopes of the mountains. Right now it's 105 with a light southwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. Well, here's a look at this satellite radar composite, and I'm concerned because as that high pressure zone pulls back, it's going to open us up to some instability and give us a chance of thunderstorms. And that chance, albeit a slight chance, starts late tonight. In fact, it could be one of those nights where we get a surprise 1 o'clock lightning storm, a thunder boomer coming in. Just a slight chance, but a chance tonight. Heat advisory until 9 o'clock tonight. Of course, all eyes on Ruidoso. I'm very concerned about the next few days. We get a little low pressure system that comes in out of the panhandle, and it moves over the Sacramento Mountains starting on Sunday through Monday. And that's going to enhance the rain chances. Even here in El Paso, we're going to see those thunder showers return by tomorrow afternoon with brief heavy rainfall. Here's your 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. I'm pulling the high temperature down to 100 degrees. The clouds will build up in the afternoon. Here come those thunder showers with brief heavy rainfall likely. Here's your allergy forecast, and we can expect 9s over the next several days. Of course, that's in the high range. Low temperatures tonight, 53 Cloudcroft, 71 Alamogordo, 72 for Deming, 80 for Juarez, 76 for Van Horn. High temperatures tomorrow beginning to come back down again. 95 Alamogordo, 100 for Deming, 100 Juarez, and 96 for Van Horn, with a great chance of late day thunder showers on our Saturday afternoon and evening. Now, coming up in about 30 minutes, I'm going to have your exclusive 9-day forecast. We'll talk about the days that really concern me with the threat of heavy rainfall. You stay with KTSM 9 News.
Welcome back, everyone. Termination notices were sent to State Department employees this morning as the agency begins to reorganize, the biggest reorganization in decades. Close to 3,000 employees will depart the agency due to cuts and deferred retirement, including over 1,100 layoffs to civil service officers and 250 foreign service officers. That's all according to an internal State Department notice seen by NBC News. In a statement released by U.S. Senator Chris Murphy and all Democrats on the Foreign Relations Committee, they discussed the layoffs to the Department of State, saying that it, quote, undermines our national security, end quote. Well, President Trump is ramping up his trade war again overnight, taking direct aim at our neighbors to the north in Canada. He's also discussing a change in how the U.S. is arming Ukraine in the war with Russia. Garrett Hawk is following all of this from the White House.
Overnight, President Trump threatening Canada with a 35% tariff, further disrupting the economic relationship with one of the U.S.'s closest allies and biggest trading partners. The proposed import tax potentially leading to higher U.S. prices on imports like fuel, cars, and groceries. In a letter, the president suggesting part of the reason for the high rate is the U.S. fentanyl crisis and what he calls Canada's, quote, failure to stop the drugs from pouring into our country.
People are getting killed and families are being destroyed.
But there is little evidence of significant fentanyl smuggling across the northern border. According to Customs and Border Protection data, of the nearly 22,000 pounds of the drugs seized last year, just 43 pounds were seized at the northern border. The Canadian Prime Minister responding overnight that the government will continue to defend our workers and businesses. The president telling NBC News' Kristen Welker in an exclusive phone interview he also plans to set blanket tariffs of 15% to 20% on most nations, calling the tariffs so far, quote, very well received. But the levies could still cause prices to spike this fall on everyday purchases. The CEO of toy giant Hasbro explains.
If you buy an action figure or a doll for $10, you would have to charge $15 to $18 just to maintain the same absolute profit dollars for the company.
Trump responding, quote, I don't care about Hasbro's prices, adding, if they made their toys here, they wouldn't have a price increase. The president also telling NBC News he will send Patriot missile air defense systems and other weapons to NATO for distribution to Ukraine, with the U.S. being reimbursed. And that he plans to make a, quote, major statement on Russia on Monday, just days after expressing his frustration with that country's president, Vladimir Putin.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
That was Garrett Hawk reporting. Up next, as search efforts continue, a nonprofit working hard trying to reunite pets separated from their families after the floods in Kerr County. This is KTSM 9 News, First at 4.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
We can't just shut the town down.
Business owner Josh Richardson is just one of many people in Ruidoso who are trying to navigate and find a way to rebuild after the catastrophic floods this week. But the question now is how. Welcome back to KTSM 9 News First at 4. There is so much work to be done right now, and so many questions are still left unanswered, like when will the $15 million promised by the government come in? New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham assured everyone yesterday that resources and funds will soon be on its way to the village to help with the recovery after the flash floods took the lives of 3 people. That was including 2 children and 1 man. Hundreds of homes have been damaged or destroyed, and countless animals have lost their lives. KTSM reached out to the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management this morning on when the funding would be dispersed, and this is what they had to say. They sent us a statement saying, quote, "We haven't received the $3 million yet, but we know that our partners at FEMA are working on that. It's not a typical funding source during a disaster, so they are navigating how it will be allocated," end quote. And officials go on to say that $12 million would go from the government straight to the locals. No other details were given on when the money would come in, and we're now also learning that all missing people have been accounted for in Ruidoso. And while everyone is still trying to figure out the next steps, businesses are also feeling the pain from this catastrophe. KTSM spoke to that business owner you saw at the top of the show in Ruidoso, who tells us there are so many unemployed people right now because of this devastation. With the track shutting down, a lot of locals are left without a job in Ruidoso Downs. And while many businesses are trying to get back up and running again, John Richardson says asking people not to come to Ruidoso is not an option.
Yes, we do have to make sure that we have a safe place for everyone to be, keep them away from the low-lying areas, places are troubled areas. But we also had to make sure that we keep businesses open because people have to work here.
Now, he goes on to say, while there is still a lot of work to be done, Ruidoso needs to stay open in order to survive this terrible tragedy. But of course, right now, the major concern is rain chances picking up again this weekend, which is why the village of Ruidoso is making self-filled sandbags available for residents. You can get those now through the end of summer. There is a 30 bag per limit per household, and there are locations to get those sandbags, which are at the Ruidoso Convention Center on Sierra Blanca Drive and Wingfield Park on Center Street. And we're also learning more about the 2 children killed in the flash flooding in Ruidoso. As we first told you about in our newscast yesterday, their families have set up a GoFundMe account. The money raised is meant to help cover funeral expenses and medical expenses for the surviving parents. The family described the children as 7-year-old Sebastian Rowan and his 4-year-old sister Charlotte Emery Trotter as just 2 of the brightest, most joyful souls you could ever meet. They go on to say that Sebastian fought to protect his little sister in the floods. They also mentioned 2 of their 3 dogs were unable to survive their injuries. That 3rd dog, a German Shepherd Lily, did survive alongside their parents Stephanie and Sebastian. The family says everyone helped trying to rescue them as well as their dogs. And we are learning that Sebastian faces major surgeries and months of recovery, as well as his wife Stephanie. Now, he is an active U.S. Army soldier and Stephanie is a nursing student. We have more on their story and their GoFundMe link up on our website. That's KTSM.com. Turning our attention now to Texas as rescue and search efforts continue for more than 100 people missing in Kerr County. Kerrville Pets Alive is working to reunite pets separated from their families in the floods. Capitol correspondent Dylan McKim highlights their efforts.
Is that your dad? Yay!
In a week of sadness and loss,
Is this your baby? She is.
These reunions are a much-needed sight.
We call this kind of our command center.
Made possible by the volunteers at Kerrville Pets Alive, who are working tirelessly to locate and reunite missing pets. Their office filled with pictures of missing pets and chock full of supplies. But even though they reunified 25 pets, they also notified families of 25 deaths.
Fill out a form.
They have a running spreadsheet of lost and found pets, describing the stories of how people became separated during the floods.
Waters were rising and they were trying to hold on to their pets and just couldn't hold on, and it's just heartbreaking.
There's 75 animals on the list now, but that could soon grow.
I hate to say the calm before the storm, but it's kind of a lull right now, and people are really starting to focus on pets and see pets that have run away and things like that.
Here at their Safe campus, these cats are waiting for their owners to find them.
If you live in River Hills Apartments, this sweet cat was found there and brought into us, and doesn't have a microchip, but clearly someone's pet.
And as they wait, some families of the flood victims are still searching for their loved ones' pets.
They just want their mom's cat back, and so they keep coming by.
In Kerrville, I'm Dylan McKim.
And the Kerrville Pets Alive president says they have received an epic amount of donations from around the country. They're providing free pet supplies to anyone affected by the floods that needs it. You know, and on that same token, we're talking about the fact that rain chances are pretty much still alive and well. Remember, maybe not Kerrville County, but here in El Paso, parts of Ruidoso, we are under this monsoon season and we are seeing it full swing. Robert, we are just getting started with those rain chances right here in El Paso.
Monica, one extreme to the other today. Extreme heat. It's been 105 so far today. Tomorrow we're going to drop back down. In come the thunder showers and the threat of heavy rain, especially over Ruidoso this weekend. Not good. Not good. Here's the misery meter. I updated this 8 days at 105 to 109 because today has been so exceptionally hot. And I don't think we're done yet. We'll have the official high later this evening for you. 107, Juarez 103, Las Cruces 104, Deming. It was 107 yesterday. We've been 105 and 100 Van Horn and at the pass. Satellite radar composite. Now, I'm putting in a chance of isolated storms for this evening. That could come in overnight tonight, one of those midnight thunder boomers that could wake us up. So far, so good up here in Ruidoso. Most of the rain to the west and south of them so far today, but that's going to change for the weekend. Here's a quick look ahead. Tomorrow, we're going to get widely scattered showers and thunder showers. We're going to face the threat of heavier rainfall potential on Sunday, and that extends into Monday as we watch our high temperatures go down. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Rob, much. All right, let's go ahead and take you outside now using our TechStock cameras. Whoa, what is this? Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you live on the west side, I'm just going to say this. I-10 Sunland Park, you already know what a mess it is. So our producer Elvia, myself, our other producer Irene, we've all been stuck in this mess. It's taken us about 30 minutes to even get anywhere. So guys, if you can really try to avoid Sunland Park, I would try to use an alternate route. It's going to take you a while to get through this construction. All right, so an update now. A Chaparral man has died after a crash in northeast El Paso. El Paso police say they responded to a crash Wednesday night at Gateway North and Kenworthy. Investigators say 50-year-old Raymond Lee Irvin Macy from Chaparral, New Mexico, was traveling on US 54 and exited onto Gateway North. His car rear-ended another one, continued to drive, eventually crashing into a concrete barrier at a high rate of speed. Police say Macy died at the scene. Police do believe Macy may have suffered a medical emergency. However, the cause of the crash is still under investigation. Well, the department is firing more than 1,300 employees today, the latest DOGE effort to shrink the size of the federal government. A recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling cleared the way for the layoffs to start. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports on the response.
Some U.S. State Department employees scanned into work one last time Friday as DOGE efforts fired more than 1,300 staff.
Our reduction in force was done, I'm very proud to say, I would argue probably in the most deliberate way of anyone that's done one.
While in Malaysia, their boss, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, said the reorganization would impact hundreds of bureaus and offices, eliminating programs related to refugees, immigration, and human rights.
It's not a consequence of trying to get rid of people. But if you've closed the bureau, you don't need those positions.
Rubio said some of the cuts are unfilled roles or ones where an employee took an early retirement.
It'll come as no surprise, and that is our reorg.
Rubio said the department notified its workforce and Congress, but employees told me some of their colleagues did not find out until Friday they would be laid off.
The notion that it's a plan dignifies it. It's just a willy-nilly effort to just sack a whole lot of people.
Virginia Democrat Senator Tim Kaine worries about the layoffs' impact on national security, especially after seeing firsthand the work of USAID staffers in Ukraine.
They rebuild the power grid when Russia bombs it. Pretty important work, and they've been doing amazing work.
Now Kaine said they will be out of a job and argued the Trump administration should not be able to do this without congressional approval. The State Department says the cuts account for 18% of its U.S. staff. In Washington, I'm Jessie Tenor.
Well, coming up, we go hands-on with Samsung's new foldable phones, now with bigger screens, slimmer designs, and smarter features. That's today on Rich on Tech. Then YouTube is said to be shutting down its trending section. We're going to tell you why a little later in this newscast. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 News First at 4, putting local first.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Robert, I'm going to tell you what one viewer told me.
Before you do that, can you show everybody on air what you're doing right now? Can they see your little stand right there? If you ever wanted to chat with Monica, and I can come around the corner too.
Oh yeah, we've been doing that all this time.
You just go on. Where do they go on?
On Monica KTSM. So it's on
Monica,
my
KTSM.
Facebook page. I'll turn it over to KTSM eventually, but
Okay, so I'm sorry, go on with your live viewer question.
the live viewer comment, and I loved it. It made me laugh. He told me to tell you, Robert, happy 105-degree day. Sorry, Gabriel, I had to shout you out. I thought that was so funny.
Okay, well, tell Gabriel, thank you so much. He may want to update his resolution because we may not end up at 105.
Oh my God, we're at 105 right now?
Uh-huh.
Why? Why?
Let me tell you why. Let's go. All right. 105 right now, but the key heating hours are with us between now and about 6 to 6:15 tonight, so we could get hotter. I predicted 106 for today. We'll see what we end up with. 102 is the temperature right now in Las Cruces with the dew point at 32. Across the region, your highs so far, not official yet, 107 Juarez, 102 Alamogordo, 104 Deming, and 90 up in Ruidoso. Satellite radar composite. I'm putting in tonight a chance of isolated late night, overnight thunderstorms. We've got a heat advisory for the whole borderland in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. And up in Ruidoso, most of the heavier rainfall came down actually to the south and east of them. So they're looking good. This ridge of high pressure has heated them up, but it's allowed them also to dry out. Now, we've had occasional gusts tonight coming in from the west up to about 25, 30 miles per hour. Expect possible gusts if area thunderstorms crop up tonight. As that ridge of high pressure breaks down, thunderstorms come in. Here's your 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. High temperature 100 degrees with a chance of late day thunder showers and brief heavy rainfall. Allergy forecast 9s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well. Tonight, again, it's just a slight chance, but I don't trust this atmosphere, Las Cruces, once that ridge of high pressure pulls away. 98 widely scattered thunder showers tomorrow afternoon and evening as our moisture returns. 80 our low temperature tonight. I've seen this before. We have a hot day, ridge pulls back. Here comes that lightning at 1 o'clock in the morning. 100 the high temperature for tomorrow. Thunder showers likely and the threat of brief heavy rainfall. Only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. On Sunday, 95 degrees with the threat of heavy rainfall out of individual complexes of storms because these thunder showers are supercharged with moisture. 90 on Monday, heavy rain threat. Isolated storms Tuesday. Storms return with a vengeance by Wednesday afternoon. Heavy rain threat Thursday, Friday, thunder showers. We dry out Saturday, back to isolated storms on Sunday. Monica.
Robert, thank you. Can we pop up real quickly, both of us, maybe just for 2 seconds? Okay, Robert, real quickly, I'm so sorry. A viewer said, Basilio, by the name Basilio, he sent you Weather Watchers photos and he hopes that you'll use it tonight. Oh, wow.
When you campaign like that, I
so
think
look out for his name, look out
that's
for
a
his
done
photos.
deal.
All
Okay,
right.
yes, I'm sending them to Kimmer right now.
All right, thank you so much, Robert. Well, Samsung just unveiled its newest foldable phones. Rich DeMuro was there and has all the details on it in today's Rich on Tech.
After years of refinements, Samsung's foldables finally feel ready for prime time.
The thickness, the weight, durability and performance, all of that is massively improved.
The company brought me to Brooklyn for their latest Unpacked event, where I went hands-on with the new devices. This is Samsung's Z Fold 7. It's the one that opens like a book. This is Samsung Z Flip 7. It's the one that opens like a clamshell. The Z Fold 7 is now thinner and lighter, with a wider outside screen that makes typing, texting, and daily tasks easier. When open, the inside screen now stretches to 8 inches. This is Samsung's first foldable with a 200 megapixel camera.
This is a kind of work powerhouse.
The Flip 7 gets a big upgrade too. The outer display now stretches edge to edge. And when you open it up, even this screen is bigger than ever, 6.9 inches. The battery is bigger and waterproofing is built into the internal circuitry, making this the thinnest Flip yet, and now dust resistant. You can use the main 50 megapixel camera for selfies. No need to open the phone.
If you want something really stylish and people who are really social and they are into selfies and sharing and capturing the moments, and they want something compact and stylish, that's the device for you.
There's also a more affordable version called the Flip 7 FE, priced at $900. All models ship with Galaxy AI, a combination of Samsung's smart photo and translation features alongside Google's Gemini. Fun color options this year include blue and coral, joining the standards. Thanks to those improved specs and bigger screens, these might just be good enough to replace your standard smartphone.
You can do so much more with not. You don't need two phones, you don't need a phone and a tablet, you don't need to have something heavy, no more weight, no more complexity, you can do so much more.
That was Rich DeMuro reporting. YouTube is preparing to shut down the trending segment showing users which videos are currently going viral on the platform. YouTube says the trending page and trending now list will be removed in the next few weeks. It's directing users to lean on personalized recommendations and YouTube charts to explore new videos. It says it will add more content category charts over time. I don't know how I feel about this, but it's okay. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this quick break. This is KTSM 9 News First Report.
Financial Fridays, sponsored by One Source Federal Credit Union.
Budgeting starts with tracking how much money you earn and spend every month. You can do this using an Excel spreadsheet or a budgeting app. However you decide to track your spending, here are some helpful hints to get started. Income. List all sources of money that you receive in a month. This can include your paycheck, investment income, alimony, etc. Expenses. List every purchase that you make in a month. Split that into two categories: fixed expenses and discretionary spending. Fixed expenses are bills you owe and pay every month, like rent or your mortgage, loan payments, and utilities. Discretionary spending is non-essential spending, like restaurant meals, shopping, clothes, and travel. Savings. Record the amount of money that you're able to save each month. Helpful hint: open a Christmas and vacation club to help you save even more. Subtract your total expenses from your total income to get the amount of money you have left at the end of the month. We want to see you succeed and be money smart. So give us a call. Why? Because we're One Source. Of course.
Financial Fridays, sponsored by One Source Federal Credit Union.
She adds that her family was prepared to seek higher ground. Soon as they received the first flash of the warning on their cell phone, having learned from last year's floods. The pain remains, however, having been there. Mic check, 321, 321, 321. But the pain is still there now that they're left. This was Fire Chief who took us all the way up the burns. Now earlier this afternoon, the Ruidoso's Fire Chief took us on a ride along all the way up to the burn scar where the flooding originated. Where the flood runoff began, it's where the 3, 2, 1. Earlier today.
A last look at your forecast. 100 the high temperature tomorrow with late day thunder showers. 95 on Sunday with the threat of locally heavy rainfall as moisture surges for both Sunday and Monday. Several days of storms next week. Monica.
All right, Robert, thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in to KTSM 9 News. 9 News Now with Andy Morgan is up next.